Okay, so you know how everyone's always talking about how American students are kind of struggling in math?
Yeah.
Like we've been behind other countries for ages,
Yeah.
and the pandemic definitely didn't help things.
Right. It's a big problem, and there are lots of ideas about how to fix it.
Totally. And today we're diving into some really cool research that's looking at this problem in a new way.
Okay.
So instead of like trying to directly change how students learn, they're focusing on the teachers.
Interesting. So supporting the teachers to help them support the students.
Exactly. And get this, the source for our deep dives today is this massive study, a mega study they call it,
Yeah.
that was just published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences.
Wow, a mega study. That sounds intense.
It is. It's from this group called the Behavior Change for Good Initiative at UPenn, the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay, I've heard of them.
Yeah, and they had all these collaborators too, so it's a really big deal.
Gotcha.
So the big question they're trying to answer is, can we use what we know about human behavior, like why people do the things they do, to create simple tools for teachers that actually help students get better at math?
Oh, that's smart because we've seen these little nudges work for students themselves.
Right, exactly.
So, like, can we nudge the teachers in a way that helps the students even more?
Yep, and this mega study thing is pretty interesting too. So basically,
Yeah.
it's like they ran a ton of experiments at the same time, all looking at the same goal, which was student progress in math.
Oh, that's a really efficient way to test a bunch of ideas all at once.
Right. They compared 15 different things they tried against like a normal reminder email they sent to teachers.
Wow, 15. So they were really thorough.
Yeah, and hold on to your hats because the scale of this thing is just mind-blowing.
Okay, hit me with it.
Over 140,000 teachers and almost 3 million elementary school kids were involved.
Whoa, that's a huge number of people.
I know, it's crazy.
And I bet even tiny improvements could have a big impact with that many students.
For sure.
Okay, so spill the beans. What did these emails actually say? What were they trying?
Okay, so the emails they sent were all based on behavioral science.
Right.
So the researchers were using real research about what motivates people
Okay.
to design the messages.
Cool. So it wasn't just like random advice or something?
No, not at all. For example, one thing they did was ask teachers to make a specific plan for how they were going to use this online math program called Zearn Math each week.
Oh, like if you write down what you're going to do, you're more likely to actually do it.
Exactly. It's all about setting them up for success with this resource.
Right.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, totally.
And then another approach they tried was kind of tapping into teachers' empathy for their students.
Oh, interesting. Like reminding them about the human connection.
Yeah, because there's research that shows that when teachers feel more empathy for their students, the students actually do better.
That's cool. I can see how that would work.
So they designed these messages to kind of remind teachers about that connection.
And did they work?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
But first, I wanted to mention that they partnered with Zearn Math for this study, which is a nonprofit.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Yeah, and the researchers said that was a big deal because usually studies this big are super expensive and hard to pull off.
Yeah, just getting all that data and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But because Zearn Math was already being used by so many teachers,
Right.
it made it way easier and cheaper to do this mega study.
That makes sense.
So we've got this big challenge in math education, right? This
Yeah.
giant study using behavioral science and this awesome partnership that made it all possible.
So did these nudges actually make a difference?
All right, drum roll, please.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat.
They found that overall, these emails based on behavioral science actually did help students do better in math.
Seriously?
Yeah, compared to teachers who just got the regular reminder emails.
How much better?
Well, the average improvement was about 1.89%.
That's not a huge number, but with millions of students.
I know, right? Even a small change can make a big difference overall.
True.
And get this, the nudge that worked the best was the one that encouraged teachers to log into Zearn Math every week to check out their own students' progress.
Oh, that's interesting. So it was personalized.
Exactly. It wasn't just general tips. It was specific to their own classrooms.
Wow, that's really powerful.
Yeah. And the researchers actually made a big point of saying that these personalized nudges were way more effective than the ones that weren't.
It makes sense when something's directly relevant to you, you're going to pay more attention.
Right. And one of the lead researchers, Angela Duckworth, she said, quote, "Our results showed that simple low-cost nudges can help teachers support student progress in math.
Cool.
These nudges worked across different school contexts, with effects persisting 8 weeks after teachers stopped receiving the nudges." End quote.
So they kept seeing benefits even after the email stopped. That's promising.
Totally.
But I'm guessing there's more to the story.
Well, yeah. So another researcher, Katy Milkman, She was quoted as saying, "These results suggest the need for more intensive support than the light touch email nudges we tested." And they underscore how hard it is to change human behavior.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So they're being realistic about the fact that this isn't like a magic bullet.
Right, it's a tool, not the whole toolbox.
Exactly.
So what does this mean for the future? What are they looking at next?
Well, one of the big takeaways is this idea that personalized data can really make a difference.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like if we can give teachers specific information about how their students are doing, it can tap into their motivation to help those kids succeed.
You're hitting on something important here. I think teachers are already so dedicated.
They are.
And giving them that data could be a super effective way to support them.
Totally. And the researchers are already planning more studies to really confirm that these nudges are causing the improvements they're seeing.
Of course they want to be sure.
Right. And they also want to see how long these changes in teacher behavior last and figure out why some nudges are more effective than others.
Like that personalized data thing?
It's exactly. Angela Duckworth said, quote, "The better we understand why something works, the more powerfully we can use it to create positive change."
It's all about understanding the how and the why so we can do it better.
Ultimately, this line of research could help shape smarter, more effective education policies, end quote.
So it's not just about the research itself, it's about how it can inform real-world decisions.
Right. And it's worth noting that this was a really collaborative effort.
I bet.
Involving researchers like Katy Milkman and Angela Duckworth, who are both really big names in this field.
So they're serious about finding solutions that work.
Totally. And they had funding from a bunch of different sources.
Oh, like who?
Including an anonymous donor to Zearn Math and some foundations and individuals.
So people are really invested in solving this math problem.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It is.
So to sum it all up for you, the main takeaway is that even these super simple, low-cost emails can actually help students get better at math.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
By helping their teachers.
But nudging them in the right direction.
Exactly. And while the results they saw in this study were kind of small,
Yeah.
the fact that personalized feedback, giving teachers data about their own students was so powerful is really exciting.
I agree. It's a super promising area for future research.
So here's a thought for you to chew on.
Okay, sure.
If these tiny little nudges can influence teacher behavior and help students learn better, what other areas in education or even in your own life could benefit from this kind of approach?
Oh, that's a good one to think about.
Right, like what small changes could you make that might lead to big improvements down the road?
I like it. Food for thought.
Exactly.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive.
I agree. Thanks for joining me.
My pleasure.
And thanks to all of you for listening.
Until next time.
Bye.